Hello, everyone. Lazy Sunday. How are you, Chris? How you doing, brother? J. Paul. Slowly, people are trickling in from TikTok. Ebony's in the house. Brendan. Who else is here? Guru, of course. Val. Woohoo! Val's one of the first ones today. She's early. I'm late. That happens. What's up, Jay? Yoni. Let me get some of this. Some of this coffee. Welcome, everybody. Charlotte. Daigo. Samuel Diamond. How are everybody feeling today? I'm glad to hear that, Chris. Power off is here. Let's see what we're looking at here. By the way, if you guys want to give us a follow on Twitch, please do. It will help us a lot. I think we're getting to something. I'm not really sure what, but it seems to be moving moving away every time we're getting closer. Top or off. All right. Twitch handle is LaserX83. If you want to follow us from there. See what we can get into because we have. All right, so we only had 4 viewers last time. We got to keep it up. So let's try and bring it to at least 5 today. If you're not a member on Dango Thoughts on YouTube, come join the membership program because we're going to have a members live right after this. Yeah, I also just woke up from a nap. I mean, not right before, but maybe, well, I guess almost right before, about 30 minutes ago. Today was definitely a nap. I'm not even a nap person, but today was definitely a nap day. I needed it today. Wonder what that is. Something about the Matrix, maybe. Techno Kling Bill. Ooh, Chris just gifted 5 people. Thank you so much, Chris. We deeply, deeply appreciate you. So if you guys are not following on YouTube, you should, because every once in a while, our beautiful moderators gifting people memberships, which helps the channel tremendously. So if you guys are there, it would you might win. If not, you can join yourself. It's not expensive, and it gets to include you in our weekly live conversation, which is a much deeper dive into particular topics that we're doing. I love the icon Saul of the Mendelbot set. User 401. How come you don't pick a name? So interesting. Is that a bot? You're not a bot, are you? The mine is in the house. How are you? Good to see you. Tom is here. Okay, so let's see if we can dive into something today before we do the members live. Maybe we can pick up a subject as well. If you guys are on Discord, come join our Discord. If you're not, come join our Discord group where we raise interesting topics. And also, we already have some voted topics. I think we were talking about Bentov, right? For our weekly live. Saw the picture, Guru. Am wishing you luck. Looks pretty sick. Also, wait, why is it oh, the hexagon is the thing holding it. I'm like, why are you building on a hexagon? It looks so cool. What a coincidence. Let me actually save this image. It's kind of cool. I really like this. This is Discord. Such a cool image. Okay, so if anybody wants to come on and they have some topics they want to raise that they want to either disagree about or talk through, I can either bring you on Discord or on TikTok and we can talk about it. And we can carry this conversation deeper. Nice. We can carry this conversation deeper into our weekly live, members live. So come join our membership program if you're not part of it. It will give you access. The mind is saying, this comment I had to uninstall it because I kept on getting all these messages from other servers. All right. Yeah, I mean, downloading it is relatively easy. Just Jay is asking, is our realm actually governed by insectoids, or do they just take on that form to look familiar, if that makes sense? No, I think it's their form. I don't think they would take that form to look familiar because it's the last thing that humans would want to see as familiar. I think that's pretty universal. I think it has something to do with shape following function. And maybe there's something about the shape of most insects that lends itself nicely for hive mind thinking. I think that's what it is. I think you might want to be closer to a hive mind if you are to be weaving reality, so to speak. But also, from what I understand, they control only the computation behind the physical environment, not your agency or events or outcomes. None of these things are being intervened with. These are just naturally occurring as you would imagine them to if you would just be living in a regular physical world, so to speak. What's up, Dawn? Get one of these babies. Exactly, working on a backdrop. Or even behind the backdrop. SMR, what are they called? thank you for following on Twitch. Yoni, I appreciate that. You know, Don, it's a good question. We don't really know what the point of interest yet. We're kind of building towards the weekly live on YouTube in less than an hour, or actually in exactly, no, less than an hour, yeah. Thank you, Yoni. What's up, John? Good to see you. Galina's in the house. Oh, why wasn't it on the bottom? Developments. Well, it depends what you mean. I mean, development, there's always some development. There's no big breakthroughs with understandings yet, no. I wish there were. Everything has its time, I guess. I think the mind is going to download Discord in a moment, and we might have a little bit of back and forth, I feel. A really productive and a fun one. In the meanwhile, you guys can ask some more general questions or whatever else that you think you want to bring to light. Let's see. How are you guys liking the Gallimore interview? The ones of you that watched it, by the way. It's so far released only to members, but it will be released for the public in a week's time, so you guys can enjoy it as well. I'm looking through. I'm combing through some comments on YouTube to see if there's anything we can engage with. So far, it doesn't seem that way. Everything's kind of the same. It is interesting that people converge with their questions. Don is saying, I think consciousness tied directly into your discovery along with sacred geometry. I mean, considering the fact that I think consciousness is a fundamental thing, I would say yes, it's tied with basically everything. The question isn't if it's tied, the question is how it's tied, exactly how. You're saying with sacred geometry. In what way do you mean with sacred geometry? Like it gives rise to it, it is the result of it, it is arising through it. Is it the proof of it? In what way do you mean that? What's up, Rose? Anytime I wonder what to do while out, I instantly get pulled back. What do you mean? Oh, you mean in hyperspace? Is that what you mean? What's up, Tom? Best meditation method to see the code. Unfortunately, I think currently it's only the molecule or some other molecules. Mushrooms, Aya. J. Paul is saying my OBEs probably are always the same. Fast launch, straight up, can't control it or go anywhere. Just a fast launch straight up in the clouds. Wish I would have more comments on this. I've never experienced it. So I'm sure one day I will. Guru saying I had a good talk with Carter yesterday before work about the project. He is a great person and I respect the passion behind it. Carter is the best. There's no question about that. Huge shout out to David Carter, who's my partner in Code of Reality and really the father of the majority of the technical stuff behind everything we're doing. There's no way I'd be able to get to where we are today without him. So huge thank you to David Carter. Don is saying structured universal constructs, informational field, ever evolving. Yeah, I would agree with that. Now we're asking exactly how. How are these things happening exactly? Can we point to them? Can we replicate them? Ebony is agreeing with Power Off, saying, I know what you mean. It seems there's a fine tuning for your awareness done through practice. So your lucidity doesn't jolt you back awake and allows you to stay out of body. Interesting. John Green is saying, I debate my dad a lot about religion and consciousness. He's never had an experience with the molecule, but he believes it could be a bit of God's essence that isn't everything why it pops up all over. Sure. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. I just feel like these statements are a little bit too general. And also, again, shout out to your dad and the fact that you guys are having these conversations is awesome. But I think that any instance of this person didn't do the molecule, but the but is where the conversation should end for that moment, because until the person doesn't try it, as you know, probably there's not much that they can postulate about it. It's simply not the kind of thing that they can ever have access to without ever trying it. Unfortunately, that is a barrier. J. Paul saying takes about an hour. Binaural beats and humming is key for me. Yeah, for you. This is the point that I'm very often making. I think that there's a slight confusion with that people have sometimes, that they think that just because this particular method worked for them, it will work for a lot of people. When in reality, a lot of these things are very difficult to replicate. There are methods that we call meditative practices that are kind of universally applicable. But when people just say, it's just drum beats, it's just whistling, it's just breathing, it's just this. Well, no, it also depends on your exact mind, which it makes this a little tricky, because what we want to find is something that is democratic, that no matter who tries it, achieves the same thing. And from experience, I'm telling you that for me, a lot of these things, if not most of these things, never work. So there's something there that needs to. Now, it might have something to do with my exact predispensation, how it's wired, of course. But if it doesn't work for one person, reliably doesn't work for one person, then we have to figure out why. What's up, Dr. Luke? Good to see you. And yeah, if you guys want to, again, I'm going to mention this verbally. If you guys want to follow us on Twitch, thank you for reminding us, Ebony. It'll be LaserX83. Follow us on LaserX83. How's the Discord actuation working the mind? Did you get it to work? Tom is saying, the few months have been hard to explain. I'm having quite the imposter anxiety right now. I can't believe the timing of this. What are we talking about? Tom, specifically? What's up, Cheryl? There was a topic. Let me actually look through the topic that we had here. Where were most of the topics suggested? Oh, I think it was. There's a whole chat for that, right? Simulation talk, podcast, live topics. There you go, live topics. So I do remember that we had Itzhak Bentov. That's a fun one. So, yep. Thank you, Ebony, for always being on top of it in the chats. I appreciate that. Just reading through them. Yeah, so I think there was a lot of topics suggested around either the Mandela effect directly or things that are adjacent to it. So wait, there you go. I see that you took me here. Also, a lot of the stuff, I think I commented it back to Dafty 001. Most of these images that you see, actually all the images that I see so far, I can't say with absolute certainty because there's some images here that I don't recognize. But when you're looking at these images that seem to show like an artifact, like a laser artifact with all of these like substructure, basically, they are. So, for example, these, I don't know if you can see them. Let's see if I can show them here. I can only show them on YouTube. So if you guys are on TikTok, you're going to have to go to YouTube and check it out. But let's see. Wait, can I do just Discord? Oh, I think I can. No. Oh, I can only do. Oh, I can only do browser? Entire screen. There you go. Let's see. Okay, so. Okay, what you guys see here. See this? So this kind of stuff. I know it looks super dope. But what you guys are seeing on YouTube right now, this is an artifact of the sensors in your camera trying to find the boundaries because they reconcile them. They're looking for where is the possible closest boundary, and because of the limited pixels, that's what it looks like. So this is not a result of anything that you see in the light. This is what you're seeing is the layout of how the sensors trying to make sense of the data. Just so you guys know. This is also a common thing, right? Same thing here. Hold on, let me show you. Same thing here. See? The grid. These we can go through. That is interesting. I don't know what these are. I mean, this is just the speckle, obviously, but we can analyze whatever this was. Alex Salas 532 is saying, do you think it's possible the code might not be code, but instead some other form of text? Well, I have no idea that it's code. We're just calling it that because it looks like a self-executing code. We don't have the first clue of what it is. And code is not very human. No, code is universal. So computation is a universal thing. Humans did not invent computation. We discovered computation. It's a function in existence. So no, code, the way we write code is our way of doing it, but the signals that are going through computational signals are not a human thing. The question still stands why we recognize some kind of a linguistic thing there, and I think it was left there on purpose to be recognized. And we have no idea that it's code. I don't even think the digits, maybe they mean something, but I actually don't think the digits are the story at all. I think they're there to just grab our attention. The main thing is the structure. What is that thing? What are we looking at? That's the question. My meditation now consists of listening to the gateway tapes. I'm trying to reach consistently focus 10. Anyone else knows the tapes? Yeah, I've done all of them. As far as I know, all the ones that are out. It's very interesting. Definitely brings some interesting results. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you. I'm logged on YouTube. What does that mean, Don? And yeah, I forgot to mention also the website. But if you want to check out codeofreality.com, that's our website that has all the information there about the project, about the protocols, lasers. There you go. And it has the merge there that you can grab the mug as well as the shirt. What? Right here. Woohoo! I always forget to show that it also has the older logo here, which is really cool. I like it a lot. I've heard language is handwritten, hard written into brain. I don't even know what that means. What do you mean by that? Hydrogen can alter the performance of optical fibers. Ever try exposing the laser to vapor or liquid hydrogen? No, I mean it sounds interesting. I don't. Let me try and follow what you're saying. Hydrogen can alter the performance of optical fibers. Okay, in what way though? Hydrogen does that. You mean liquid hydrogen? Because then it would be the temperature that makes it superconductive. What do you mean by hydrogen? Let's see. Hydrogen. Optimizing the function of optic fibers. I'm just not familiar with this, so let me see. Hydrogen, while not directly optimizing the basic function of optical fibers in light transmission, can play a significant role in monitoring and ensuring their effectiveness, particularly in environments where hydrogen is present or involved. Here's how. Sensing hydrogen presence, optical fibers can be used as hydrogen sensors. Got it. Okay. By incorporating specific coating or materials like palladium, I don't know how to pronounce it, onto the fiber, changes in the fiber's optical properties. Reflectance can be used to detect and measure hydrogen concentration. So that's, yeah, so that it's not that the presence of hydrogen, it's a particular usage of the properties of hydrogen. Hydrogen is only one electron, I think. Yeah. All right, the mine. We're waiting for you. Yeah, liquid hydrogen, which is what I thought. I mean, that just has to do with temperature. I want AI to observe the code versus a human mind. That would be interesting. We couldn't agree more. That would be interesting. Let's think about how we make AI see it. Hold on one second. Yeah, so functions of things, they're the interesting things, not necessarily the presence of something. Teach AI. How are you going to teach it if you can't show it the code? That's the $1 million question, right? Zcat is saying tomorrow. All right. What is tomorrow? Guru is saying the laser is working. I'm going to do a 10-second test to see if it doesn't overheat. It shouldn't. These diodes are very, very low temperature. So I'm glad it worked. Congratulations. Potentials. What do you mean by potentials, Don? Maybe atmosphere changes perspective. It doesn't seem to, no. The code does not seem to be whatever that is, doesn't seem to be residing in any layer that is emergent on our level of existence. It seems to be some kind of a fundamental thing, or at least outside of the scope of influence currently. So hold on, I'm trying to look what's happening on Discord. Something is happening. There was some message, but I don't see who messaged me. Not clear. Okay, we'll get back to this. The mind is saying neuromorphic computing. All right. Those computers are on the market. We could get one of those and get it to start processing some data. So that, as far as I know, and I don't know much about it, but I know that that has to do with the architecture of the hardware, which of course is applied to later how the software can run on it. But I'm failing. That's a stretch, I feel, because it's not. It's inspired by the way the neurons propagate information, but that does not necessarily mean that you have the same ability to the computing power. Of course, everything should be tried. There's no question about that. But what is it specifically about it that makes you think that this is? We still need to get access to whatever we're seeing, which we have no idea how the brain achieves this with the use of the molecule. but something to explore for sure. I know, but the thing is, if you would just see the list of experimentation we have in front of us, the mind. Currently, we're not looking for new ideas for experimentation. We're looking for people who are willing to take on experimentation because there's simply not enough hours in a life to finish all the experiments that we already have in mind that are very elaborate and crazy and fun. So if anybody wants to try these, by all means, I encourage people to do it. Get a hold of one of these computers, start working on it, publish the data, share it with us. That's the whole point. The point is to encourage people to actually try. Suggestions are infinite. We have infinite number of these suggestions. And we love them, but at this point we need to execute. We need to try things. Elysium, how are you? Is that a new way? Is this Elysium? Just with the, you wrote it with a Z? Sub Dan, hope you are doing fine. If you don't mind me asking, did you gain any more access to that personal computer you got on the higher frequency? No, currently it's all the same thing. The console is always appearing the same. What about a smoke-filled room? Like at a rave, the light will bounce off the smoke. No, it won't. It's random scattering. There's enough photons coming from the rays to reveal that there's rays there, but it's never going to give you content because content means it has to bounce off whatever is in that region of space coherently from the same direction, which exactly what the wall gives you. But smoke doesn't do that. Smoke is just random scattering. So there's only enough photons hitting back your retina to tell you that there's a beam there, but not more than that. Light field cameras are probably the way to go, but again, there's a lot of other things that needs to be figured out there. Why would it be anything like a human simulation? First of all, how are you, Jackie? But also, what are you referring to? Maybe it's a base layer language that our subconscious mind keeps hidden. Probably, maybe. That's very possible. What's up, the dweller? So the experiments, we can start the conversation because we have a whole working group called Project Veilbreak, and people there engage with the technical work versus ideation. And if you're interested of actually trying to replicate some things, we'll be very happy to hand off some ideas for people to try. So we can start this conversation there. Did you try and contact me on Discord? Because I heard a message and I couldn't see anything. Was that you? Yeah, I know the mind. You're saying how we could do it, just throwing out ideas. So ideas have to be a little bit better formulated at this point because we're no longer at like general ideation stage. There's quite a few things we do know. If you're saying neural computation, I would ask the question, why neural computation? What is it specifically about neural computation? If the answer is that you think that because it's called neural computation that somehow it resembles the human brain, that would be incorrect. It does not resemble the human brain. It is just designed, inspired by the way that networks work in the human brain, but is an extremely limited case of particular regions in the human brain. The level of complexity of the human brain is orders of magnitude higher, which makes it a completely different system currently. So if you think that neural computation can work, my question would be, why do you think it would work? Do you have an theoretical understanding of why that should work? That's kind of like the level of specificity that we're looking for currently. J. Paul can't launch. Thought without action is dead. Exactly. What about random number generators and like what they did and the Peer Institute? What about it? The laser simulation experiment. It's turn. Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, we should. The mind is saying, I will talk to individuals who are working with neuromorphic computing and see if they're willing to do your experimentation. Sure. We would have, instead of shooting in the dark, we can develop quite a bit of theoretical framework before. That's the beauty of theory. That's what theory is for. The theory is there so we're not fumbling in the dark. There's no need to fumble in the dark. There's quite a bit that we understand about the world. So if we connect these ideas and we discuss them and we think about what might work and what might not work according to what we think is going on currently, we might not need to run as many experiments as you would think if we just think about it for a second. Like, what do we think is actually happening? Yep, getting camera to see it is exactly what we're talking about. When you originally came across the magnet scrambling the code, was the laser on a normal household wall? What do you mean? No, so it was hitting the magnet itself, not the wall, when it was scrambling it. I'm referring to people not believing this as a simulation based off what they know about simulations, which is silly because it's not much like what we know about simulations similar. So actually, it's funny for a whole other reason is that no matter what you think the nature of the simulation is, it cannot be anything else but a simulation. Even if you think the world is just physical, your brain is simulating what you're seeing right now. It is the definition of a simulation. It is not what the real world looks like, and we all know that. So either way, it's a simulation, even if there's no aliens behind it, so to speak. But it's either way, it's a simulation. It can't possibly be anything else. Wait, let me see. Let me check the mind. What is your handle there? Wait, Sun Sneezer is you, or because I see a message from Sun Sneezer. Piggy. That's hilarious. Don't see you for some reason. You sent me a message? I am not seeing you. You like personal message or where? Can you send me a friend request? I don't see anyone with the handle Piggy at all. Send me a friend request. No, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying I don't see a personal message. Did you send me a friend request? I don't see any Augie either. Let me see. Oh, I see it. Piggy Bud. There you go. Let me see if I can send you a message. Can you see this? Because I definitely didn't receive anything from you. There you go. I just sent you the first message. Do you see a direct message from me? Sup, CJ Web. New here, but this looks very interesting. I'm a web developer. I also had a brain played in 2014 that caused hallucinations prior to meditation. That stopped it. The brain is so powerful. Yes, it is. Welcome to the show. Documentary. How are you, Rogue? It will be ready by the end of the year. 1 second. Still don't see a response from you, the mind. Well, I'm glad it's most anticipated for you. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Put the programming code of the human into it. Look up line 44. Humans apply to your AI. Wait, I think I missed quite a bit. So let me see. First time we did the experiment, what were you actually looking for? I wasn't looking for anything. It wasn't that I was running it in a way that I understood what was supposed to be the result, but I knew that the laser was supposed to do something. The hunt for this idea was there for years, and I basically figured out that at least this portion needs to work. That's what the movie is really following, because it was a long process. It was like years long process. Cars is saying like code a program that does not equivalent to a stable AI that doesn't hallucinate, and cause it to hallucinate and check and see if it is as islands of order. Not sure. The mind is saying the purpose of using neuromorphic computing is to observe the simulated brain states and how they change depending on how you introduce certain molecules to the system. That is not what I know about neuromorphic computer, but I'll be the first one to admit I don't know much, but that's not what I've heard about it. Let me see. So let me pull it up. Yeah, so basically, okay, so this is closer to what I know. So neuromorphic computing is an approach to computing that is inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. Neuromorphic computer chip is any device that uses physical artificial neurons to do computations. In recent times, the term neuromorphic has been used to describe analog digital mixed mode, analog digital VLSI, and software systems that implement models of neural systems for perception, motor controls, and multi-visionary integration. So it's like a particular use of it. Recent advances have even discovered ways to detect sound at different wavelengths through liquid solutions, a chemical system. And an article published by AI researchers at Los Alamos National Laboratory states that neuromorphic computing, the next generation of AI, will be smaller, faster, and more efficient than the human brain. Interesting. So that's kind of like new developments in the how far it went. Yeah, definitely something I need to read up a lot more on. So thank you for bringing it to my attention. Chemical experiment is not possible. Wait, I think you said something else here. The purpose of using. Oh yeah. So I'm looking at my messages, the mind on Discord. I sent you a message, a direct message on Discord, but I don't see that you responded yet. So otherwise we could just talk a lot faster back and forth. The purpose of using neuromorphic computer. Okay, so that and how the system reacts to different stimuli as opposed to that system reacting to a laser without the specific chemical. Yeah, but you will still need to, because what we're looking at is not really there's a lot of spikes that can happen because of a laser light. What we're looking for is a very particular observation of the code. It's nested in that observation. What you're going to see is just a spike of photons hitting the retina first before anything else. And that chemical experiment is not possible if you're running that on a silicon-based hardware, due to the fact that obviously silicon doesn't react to chemicals the same way biological does. Right, but it doesn't mean that it can process information in the same way. Just a matter of the architecture. And when I say no more for computing, I don't mean just digital normal for computing. I mean actual brain cells, neurons, and other forms of single cell organisms like fungi. I'm not sure I'm following, but I would love it for you to clarify. There we go. Okay, so you can. Okay, so let me see if we actually can make this work. So if I call you now, let's see if you can hear it. I'm making a phone call to you. You just have to accept it. Do you see the call? You can just call me. There's it's like on the top right, you'll see like a start voice call or start. Whose audio is terrible? My audio is terrible? Okay, here we go again. Oh, now you started a call. There you go. Yeah, can you hear me?
How's my audio sound?
Sounds pretty good. Can everybody hear it? Let's wait for them to say something.
Hello, mic check. 1 2 1 2 mic check. This is Mike's radio show.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, they can hear you. So just consider the fact that now we basically have to hop off in about 4 minutes just because we have to start the weekly live. But we can exchange a couple of notes and then we can always continue this in the weekly live. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the biological computing, where should I start? I think, yeah, there has been some breakthroughs, and the neuromorphic computing is now integrating in all biological type of computing, or they call it, what is it called? Unconventional computing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe this will be the next step in the research because of the fact that the neuromorphic computing is biological, which we're biological computers processing data. We're using chemicals to do that. And obviously, I think that the chemicals that we put in our brain has direct effect on how we process information. So if there's computers that are processing information, that's going to putting certain chemicals in the brain and in the system is going to have a direct effect on that. And I think we can make some correlation between what's happening with us, what's happening with them. You said that there is a way to make a, what is that thing called? I forgot the name of it. In science, there's a certain name where there's a baseline for the experimentation. And the baseline would be the biological computer observing the system without the chemical in its system. And then there's information we could draw from that. Once we put the chemical in the system, there's going to be different information that we're going to draw from. And we're going to have to compare and contrast the information. And there's things we could fine with that information.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that would definitely be a way to basically perturb an artificial network. However, it will still have a lot of limitations because it doesn't resemble anything like the human mind itself. It just resembles very rudimentary versions of data perception. But you're right. It gets us one step closer of potentially triangulating what happens with the molecule specifically. It's just that my intuition tells me that there's something that happens on such a high level of emergence of consciousness itself that it might be invisible from that layer of emergence of just playing with that. But I think you're right. I think there's definitely one way to go about it. The question is, how do we make these implementations real? So basically getting a hold of one, knowing what the limitations are, how you program one. And but I agree. Yeah, I think that's one way to at least get some data of what's going on when we ingest the molecule, and then see if we can discern anything about maybe the network perceiving some kind of a symbolic representation when it's exposed to the data from the light field of the laser. There's quite a few things there that can be tried, and if that yields fruit, I mean, that's incredible. So thank you so much for bringing it to my attention. That is a really good idea.
I want to end up by saying, yeah, I agree. Right now, the technology is so rudimentary, and it's simple and it's not where it needs to be. But technology is advancing pretty fast. So I think if we do give it, I would say even like a decade time, we could start implementing some of these experiments, even if we can't do it,
Yeah, Def 001, unfortunately, we ran out of time for today, but you could hop on tomorrow. Today, we're going to go to weekly live in 1 moment. And I see that you're not a member. If you want, you can join the membership program, which isn't a lot. It's like $3 or something, and you can join that. It's going to start in a moment. And then, but if you want to come on just on a regular chat, you can do it tomorrow. Today, we kind of ran out of time. I think Mike is your name, by the way? Mike? Yeah, is that your name? Because you said Mike's Radio.
I thought you were Mike.
No, I'm Danny. We're close enough.
Dang. Oh, shit. Sorry. My friend invited me to your thing, and then she got all mad that I was coming over here because we got into a fight. So I don't even know what your name is. I forgot what your name is. I just started coming over.
Cool. What's your name?
My name is John.
Oh,
I was
great.
interested in this stuff. Like, I had a dream about code and jumping dimensions, and yeah, I was telling her about my experience, and she told me about you, and I had to come over.
Well, I'm glad you did. So, okay, we'll do a quick jump off, and then I do see that you're a member, so you can just join the weekly live, and we can continue the conversation as well. If you guys want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok. It will be Goller Danny on X. It will be LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. Come join the membership program on YouTube. Chris just gifted another 5 memberships. I appreciate you deeply, Chris. Thank you so much. Anybody who got the gift, you can now join the weekly lives. I'm sure it's deeply appreciated. And one is going to start in, I think it's supposed to start in 4 minutes, but I think we're going to take till 6:30. So another 14 minutes from now. I'll take like a little bit of a break. We'll start at 6:30, and then we'll start the weekly live. What else? Come check out our website, codeofreality.com, where you can find lasers, merch, protocol, everything else that comes with that, and come join our Discord community, the link to which you can find on YouTube and on TikTok. We have an incredible community of people. Come get the shirt on the website. And what else? That's it. Expect the movie in the end of the year. Really, really appreciate. Thank you so much for joining, CJ Webb. Really appreciate the moderators, Chris and Ebony and Guru and Jessica. Thank you so much for our incredible team and everybody who involved in the project to any degree. Thank you so much for all the community members, old and new. I really appreciate you guys. And let's keep this thing going. And I'm excited to start our weekly live where we dive much deeper into topics. Today, we might have some pretty in-depth, really out there topics. If we are going to go into Itzhak Bentov stuff, I don't know if you're familiar, but we're talking about the core of reality stuff. He was out there. in every possible way, but in a fascinating way. So if I'm not sure if that's what it's going to be, as long as everybody votes yes. I think that was the suggested topic, but it can be anything, and we can bring some people out. So again, thank you so much, everybody. Much appreciated, and we'll start the weekly live in 12 minutes from now. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. For all the rest of the community, thank you, everybody else. Peace and love. Ciao. See you guys in a moment.